It's a Mr. Like you puts the rest of us to shame. And I've seen enough. I've seen enough to know that I have seen too much.
So here's an article by Phillip Zelikow, who is a professor and teaches the best ways to destroy people with propaganda. He's a word kind of guy, he thinks. I like these smart guys. He's been told, like, ever since he was a kid, he was super smart, and like, he believes them, actually. He believed his parents, probably when they told him other things, too. What's the matter there, Philbo? You didn't get to spin the dreidel much? Sorry about that. So, you tell us you're a propagandist, and then you tell us a story, and we're not supposed to say you're full of it. So you got enough power to be full of it, and no one's allowed to tell you, like Trump, like Rumsfeld, like Bush, like them all, okay? In 1941, Burnham had moved on. He published his first great book, Prophecy, called The Managerial Revolution. It made him famous. His vision of the future is one where the old ideologies like socialism have been left behind. The rulers are really beyond all that. They are the managerial elite, the technocrats, the scientists, and the bureaucrats who managed the all-powerful enterprises and agencies. You know this vision. You have seen it often at the movies. It is the vision in all those science fiction dystopias. You know, with the gilded masterminds ruling all from their swank towers and conference rooms. Gilded masterminds like Trump with all his gold. Well, he don't lead shit, you know. Let's be serious. If you owned the world, would you actually let that guy make decisions? Come on now. He has nothing to do with it, old Phillip 9/11 Zelikow, right? It's a quite contemporary vision, for instance. It's not far at all from the way I think the rulers of China imagine themselves and their future. Yes, Philip, not you, though. It's always those slanty-eyed guys. In this and other writings, Burnham held up Stalin's Soviet Union and Hitler's Germany as the pure exemplars of these emerging managerial states. But Stalin totally covered for the Zionists. Hitler was more aware. Our whole problem with the Holocaust is because of the Soviet Union. So just after the Second World War, my other prophet, these contrasting and comparing prophets, decided to answer Burnham. You know him as George Orwell, right? This is it, folks. Phillip the Zelikow of the cows is using George Orwell's 1984 to support his philosophy. George, if you were alive today, we would have a few Guinnesses or something, okay? You know, their backgrounds were very different. Orwell was English poor. Orwell's lungs were pretty rotten, and he would not live long. Orwell was a democratic socialist, came to loathe Soviet communism. He had volunteered to fight in Spain, was shot through the throat, didn't stop him writing. Wow, good he wasn't a public speaker. Orwell got shot through the throat, and when he was a kid, he was at a private school because he knew somebody, and he used to wet his bed, and the headmaster would make it into a public shaming every night. He had to go in and change his sheet in front of all the kids. What have you been through, Philly baby there, Bilbo, Dilbo? Did the girls at school take your beanie off one time and play frisbee with it? I just gotta ask you there, Phildo, have you ever fought a person hand to hand, even in Israel? Because you're dual citizen. You and Orwell have other things in common. You, Ziggy Zelikow. Orwell was born in British India. His country that he supported, the home country, wasn't where he was. Just like you support Israel. You're just hanging out in America, a colony of Israel. Orwell was profoundly disturbed by Burnham's vision of the emerging managerial state. All too convincing, yet he also noticed how when Burnham described the new superstates and their demigod rulers, Burnham exhibited a sort of fascinated admiration. So Zelikow's telling us a little of the way the world should be with his friend George Orwell. So that is my first suggestion, to simplify yet balance our expression of core values, which the simplest thing is the truth, right? It ain't happening with him. kind of like Common Core for the schools. Yep, it's the core, baby. You know, working out your midsection. And all the core is the word right now. The core is the war. My second suggestion is to think strategically about where and how the U.S. can promote such a world. Oh, that's beautiful. That's like Agenda 2030 on the dirty sturdy, baby. Strategically, we could ask, where can we do the most? Tilt the balance towards an open and civilized world. What states or regions or issues are pivotal? Where can U.S. actions have catalytic impact? That's like the catalytic converter that made gas clean so that they wouldn't do away with the engine. Especially since 9/11, the danger of catastrophic terrorism has turned America's global strategic priorities upside down. Really? Bildo, no one was closer than you, my man. This is separating you from it. Terrorists tend to flourish in the broken wilderness area of the world, like the urban wilderness wildland interface upside down at a different pace. These are just the places that therefore are least likely to change the course of world history in a positive way. Bilbo, you're breaking all sound barriers of bullshit here. These places draw a huge amount of our attention, resources, and energy, like freaking Iraq. From the perspective of global strategy, not only is this all playing defense, it is actually anti-strategic. The most important power in the world, concentrating on the least important places. Oh, Bilbo, baby. I think you should bag that crap and keep it in your refrigerator or something. That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful. What do? You got a divorce from Israel right in the middle of it, Bilbo? Dildo Baggins? We shouldn't have went and blown up Iraq and Syria and every place else, Yemen, because what does that area matter? You know, like Israel's sitting there. That's great, brother. That is great. Now that you pulled it off, you're saying it was wrong, and we should have done it differently, even though you did it. Okay. I like you, man. I really do. All your other psyops are around, like these crazy, freaking drug-addled psychos that decide they're gonna kill people, so they look in the paper and they figure out what's an event, what's a social issue, black, white, this, that they could kind of become more famous with, and they go to the state that's gonna give them the most, news, and that's where they go and they do it. These people that can't plan because they're crazy. Today, the U.S. must make choices about what places or issues will advance our narrative. Now, I come to my third answer as to how to prove the possibilities for an open and civilized world. I want to talk about the disproportionate role in history played by what I call catalytic episode. Post-war recovery of Western Europe was one thing. It's more like what happened to Richard Pryor when he lit on fire. Class act there to make a joke about himself running down the street on fire. You gotta love it. He likes to make all these references to historical events.
Excuse me, mister, can't you see the children die? You say that you can't help them, mister, you're not even trying.
Yeah, he's a professor. To think about this more strategically, try out a different mindset. Come on, people. Open up your mind to the global beauty of these things, man. You know, if you grew up like I did, you would have great love in your heart. And, one that turns that policeman of the world order image inside out. Or maybe I should say outside in. Maybe I should say Alice in Wonderland. You know, maybe I should say the Mad Hatter. Maybe I should say deep down in the rabbit hole. How about if I say up in the elephant hole? Who knows? Start out there with whatever foreign country or region one might think is troubled and important. Go looking. Start in whatever area you deem crucial, like Brazil or Mexico or Egypt or Turkey or Pakistan or Indonesia. Watch out for Malaysia and Indonesia. Trump's getting in there pretty seriously with all his people. Then from the perspective of that country, be empathetic. Look at it with their eyes. You do not know another man, until you walk a mile in his shoes. Look at what issues actually dominate much of their daily life. Well, Phil, part of it is throwing darts at a picture of you on my wall. History is punctuated by catalytic episodes. After they happen, people interpret them to construct narratives about the past and future. Such episodes are usually quite complex and contingent. Few outsiders and even most insiders do not understand what really happened. And I know what happened because I wrote it. And you people out there don't. Few outsiders. And I didn't even tell insiders. They will nevertheless be dramatically simplified into catchphrases and axioms like 9/11, 9/11, enduring freedom, terrorism, axis of evil, Little Rocket Man. Little Rocket Man was Elton John, who's gay and wears funky glasses. Is that what you call in there, Dooku, Kim, Kimmy, Limmy, Jim, Lim, Slim Jim? Dee-doop, dee-doo. Okay, kids, come over here and take a seat next to me when Uncle Ziggy reads something. The so-called world order, you guys try to call it that, it's not really there, is really the accumulation of local problem solving. Wow. Remember when I warned you years ago about sitting around there with the locals and problem solving? You guys didn't listen then, you're not listening now. Bilbo, you must have sat on the toilet for a while thinking of that one, looking at a teen magazine. So world order is really the same thing as when you get together with your friends and the people in town and talk about having a public garden space. Like Citizens United. The corporation is a citizen. So we'll have 3 huge corporations, mega global, sitting around deciding how to solve a problem. No different than we do. Wow. I wish I would have thought of that, guys. The only problem, Phil, though, is you guys are different than us. It's not us that are going to be sitting around, but we're going to be locked in some walled-in community that fires can't get us, and we can't get out to see the fires, okay? It is the new walled-in Walton. Yep. Phil-do, Bilbo, dildo. Just give me your best linguistical liquidation, because I don't want to be around for it. Send your best people over here, have them bury me in the bowl.
How did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops weakened by my soul cries. Does my confidence upset you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I walk